I knew the moment she lifted her chin, all smug and glittering with the ring I once wore, that this was the scene everything had been building toward. Her hand rested on my ex-husband's arm like she owned both him and the ground she stood on. And she spoke with that rehearsed arrogance people adopt when they think they're untouchable. "We're here for our rightful share of your father's estate," she said. "So do the reasonable thing. Move out. Today." I didn't flinch. I simply stepped aside, giving her a clear path inside. Because I wanted her to walk straight into the trap she didn't know she'd helped build. Behind her, footsteps echoed. Measured, calm, intentional. My lawyer. And that was when she finally realized something was off. But by then, it was much too late. Back before everything soured, I met him 12 years ago, when hope still felt like a safe investment. He had that quiet charm, the kind that convinces you it's sincerity rather than calculation. He said he admired my work ethic, my loyalty, my stillness. Funny thing, predators admire the very traits they intend to feed on. I married him believing we were a team, believing I'd found the one person who understood the way I loved, fully, fiercely, and without conditions. Now I see what he really admired was how easy I was to underestimate. The slow rot, the shift was subtle. The kinds of changes you only notice if you stop romanticizing patterns. He started coming home later, started placing his phone face down, started smiling a little too long at messages he never explained. I kept my observations quiet. Quiet is a powerful thing. People mistake it for blindness. One night, while he showered, his phone lit up with a message preview he'd forgotten to disable. "Tell her you're working late. I'll keep the wine cold. Jay." My pulse didn't spike. My breath didn't hitch. I simply memorized the timestamp. I'm good with details. He'd forgotten that. Or maybe he never knew. Proof is a blade. I hired a private investigator the next morning. Not out of emotion. Emotion is loud and sloppy. I needed precision. Within a week, I had photos, his hands on her waist, his mouth on her neck, his lies worn proudly on a hotel room mattress. The investigator also found something else. Documents he'd signed with her, plotting to siphon assets from my father's estate once my father's health declined. They didn't just want each other. They wanted everything attached to me. That was when the coldness settled in. The kind of cold that clears the mind, sharpens the aim, and makes revenge feel less like vengeance and more like rearranging the universe into its proper order. The blueprint. I didn't confront him. Confrontation warns people. Instead, I prepared. I updated my will and trust. No one would touch my father's estate without going through iron doors they couldn't break. I filed for divorce silently with evidence attached. His infidelity, financial manipulation, and conspiracy for asset theft. I moved the estate into a protected trust, one that legally excluded spouses and ex-spouses entirely, unless specifically listed. He wasn't. I froze every joint account the moment he tried to transfer funds to his new girlfriend. I let him leave voluntarily. He thought he was escaping into a better life. Really, he was stepping out of all legal access to mine. He remarried 3 months after the divorce finalized. I didn't attend the wedding, but I did send a gift, a certified letter. One sentence. "Your rights end where my signatures begin." Back to the front door. Now here she was, standing in my doorway, pretending she had leverage. She wore entitlement like perfume, strong, cheap, and impossible to ignore. "I'll call the police," she said when I didn't respond quickly enough for her ego. "This property is marital heritage. It belongs to us now." My smile was thin, surgical. "You should read the divorce decree," I said. "We did," my ex-husband barked. "We know what we're owed." "Oh, I'm sure you think you do." That was when my lawyer stepped up beside me, placing a stack of documents on the table near the entrance. His voice was calm, professional, deadly. "Actually," he said, "as of the signing date, all assets derived from the estate were transferred into a trust that predates both your marriage and your divorce. Neither of you has legal standing to claim a cent." The new wife blinked. Then again, her greedy smirk faltered. "That's impossible," she whispered. "It's airtight," my lawyer replied. "And attempting to force entry make false claims to property, or intimidate the beneficiary is grounds for criminal charges. My ex-husband's face drained of color. He wasn't used to losing, especially not to me. The fall he stepped toward me, voice low. You planned this. I met his eyes. I executed this. His wife sputtered beside him, asking questions he couldn't answer, clawing at his arm as if dragging him back from the realization that she had married a man with nothing left to give her. She came here for a fortune. She left with a man who had gambled everything and lost. The quiet after they retreated down the walkway, her crying, him silent. I closed the door gently. No triumph, no gloating, just the quiet return of a home finally emptied of ghosts. Revenge isn't loud. It's not dramatic or explosive. It's precise. It's patient. It's the moment you reclaim yourself piece by piece, until there is nothing left of the person who was once prey. Today, I didn't win because they lost. I won because I remembered who I am, the woman they should never have underestimated.